right, there we go. Sorry, I had another mouse issue. I figured I could thwart it at first. During the countdown, I'm like running around looking for a mouse pad that will make the wireless mouse work, so I can like change the view from this side. And the cookbook of the day, no good. And then I discovered that the Art of Cataclysm book, better, still apparently not effective enough, so I had to go do it the old-fashioned way. Welcome, everybody, to my kitchen and to the June 2020 baking stream, where we're actually revisiting a recipe that we've done before. I did not know that when I put it on the poll because I have the memory of a goldfish. However, today we're after the Cho'gall's Cho'gall donuts from the Hearthstone cookbook, and as it turns out, we did do these late in 2018. I believe it may have been December. So I looked back at that and figured, you know what I want to do is better and more interesting. So one of the main things that I had been missing at the time was I did not have any kind of a donut pan or a donut mold, so what I had done was just made them in the bottom of muffin tins. So I made these like weird little brownie disc of donuts in the bottom of the muffin tins, and they were very nice, but they were not donut shaped, and I do not feel that they could really be classified as donuts. So this time around, got a couple of new things. See here. Zapian, thank you very much for the 2-month resub. Hey Hazel, hope you're having a great day. Looking forward to these. Me too. I could use a donut today. What did I get? Goodies. So the first thing, battery. I tried that to fix the mouse. Turns out that's not what I needed. I was like looking for mini donut pans because for some reason, are they mini donuts? Does it say mini donuts anywhere here? Yeah, it says lightly greased mini donut pan. So I go online and I'm like, mini donuts, mini donuts. And then I discovered there's a great deal of discrepancy between the size in what one manufacturer may consider to be a mini donut. I ended up getting this tray, which has fairly shallow depressions in it that are still larger than some of them. Some of them were like candy size. Some of them were like Werther's Original sized. And I didn't want that. That's too small. That's not a donut. That's a cracker. So I got this, and then I had the Brainwave because I think I ordered this before I got my air fryer. That gigantic R2-D2 back there. And after I got the air fryer, I'm like, ooh, what if I could air fry them? But this thing is clearly not about to fit in the air fryer tray unless I like twist it up, and that's just going to be a big mess. So instead, I also got these guys. So these are individual, separate little mini donut silicone molds, and they're larger as well. These are more what I would consider to be mini donut size. I think that this would give you enough donut for you to know that you're eating a donut, and not just like some cute, weird, trendy thing that's trying to be a donut, but like not. Cytail, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Girl Squad. Oh my gosh, forgot it was a baking stream. I'm so excited. We're going to try and get something made today. This is one of those recipes that we can actually make and then like eat the same day, which I'm quite looking forward to. So I'm going to start gathering ingredients. I'm going to need 5 tablespoons of butter, which means I need to slice the end off of this bad boy here. It does want me to cream it, but it doesn't say anything about warming the butter up at all, although in my experience, it's pretty difficult to cream butter unless it is room temperature. So I'm going to let this sit out while I get the rest of the ingredients out. It is quite warm in here. It is currently 76 degrees in my kitchen. I'm actually going to remove the insulated slippers. Those are not needed. I'll let this sit out, and then I may microwave it just an itty bitty teeny tiny little bit. We'll see. So that can live right here. What else do you want? This can go back. We're going to need flour, of course. We're going to need salt, vanilla, cinnamon, sugar, cocoa powder, buttermilk. I had to order buttermilk because I can never find it. It's not a thing that seems easy to find on a shelf at a store. Maybe they just hide it from me. Maybe they just see me coming. They're like, oh no, she cannot be trusted with this stuff. All right, so let's just start grabbing stuff. We got vanilla. Am I doing baking powder, baking soda? Baking powder for a raising agent. These are not a yeasted donut, although I did experiment with yeasted donuts in the air fryer recently, and I can tell you all about that eventually. All right, cocoa powder, the other thing that I got more of, because that was also tough to find in stores, but I managed to get some online. There's a little bit left in that, but there's more somewhere. I've been struggling a little tiny bit with my storage organization, but we're getting there. There's just no place for some things, but we still eat them, or at least I was going to. Sugar, flour are down here in these big guys. That would be the sugar. Flour is down here. I need to top up my chia seeds. Every morning, I have like a good-sized tablespoon of chia seeds on top of my oats. And every morning I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to just grow some of them? Just like, you know, and then every morning I'm like, well, if you're not growing it into like Mr. Potato Head's skull, isn't there really any point anymore? Isn't that where the real joy lies? So I have not yet I've not yet reached the point of quarantine where I've made a homemade chia pet, but I am getting there. 76 indoors. I imagine it'll be 80 before the day's over. It's a warm day and we don't have all the ACs set up just yet. What have you cooked so far with your air fryer? Oh boy, you betcha. That's not the correct sentence to answer that question. What haven't I cooked? No, that doesn't. There's nothing that I can say that will make you betcha the right suffix for that. I've cooked a variety of things, mostly vegetables, but also frozen foods. We'll do like, I have some frozen spring rolls I'll do in there. I'll do frozen fish to make fish sandwiches or fish tacos. I like roasting carrots in it. I've done sweet potato fries. I've done regular potato fries. I've done donuts, of course. Not too many desserts. Oh, I did grilled cheese sandwiches. That was pretty good. Butter, sugar, an egg. Oh, let's get an egg out. There we go. Salt. It's going to be this guy here. You know, one of these days I'm going to start the stream and I'll have everything like already set up. I've thought about pre-measuring stuff, but like it would make for a really short stream. Cinnamon, of course. That one's over here. Oh, no, I'm out, but I also have more, but I didn't put it into the new jar because I'm not happy with my spice rack jars, so I've been reticent about refilling them because, like, the mouth on them isn't quite wide enough to fit a teaspoon in, and that's a problem for me. I'm very rarely lightly dusting spices. I am usually shoveling them out with a snow shovel. Okay, so it wants me to preheat my oven now. I don't think so. That's a later me problem. They want me to grease mini donut pans and set aside. It says it makes about 2 dozen donuts. Again, I'm not really clear on what size these are. You know, there's nothing really in this photo for scale. There's a spoon in the very back. I would say that I'm probably not getting 24 of these. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. I'm going to start, because I want to do even, well, do I want to do even numbers? I'm trying to think, because I want to definitely compare how they turn out in the oven versus the air fryer. I don't anticipate it's going to be any different, to be honest with you. But do I want to do even numbers or not? I guess that depends on how the first ones turn out. I guess what I should do is just like have these handy, grease some of them, although I don't think I need to grease them too much because they are silicone, so they do kind of peel off. I'll probably just give them a real quick spray of cooking spray, and then I'll just kind of divert, or, you know, do a couple test ones maybe. How long do they take to cook? They want me to bake it for about 10 minutes. So we could probably do like a hypothesis testing first batch of just a couple in each one, and then make more depending on whichever one turns out better. Oh man, is the Hearthstone cookbook the same author as WoW? Yes. Here is a good application for, you betcha. Bet still stands. 50k channel points saying the air fryer wins. We'll see, we'll see. Last time I think I chickened out a little bit early on the air fryer when I was air frying donuts and I took them out too soon. And that caused me issues of them being just like slightly underdone. I put some of them back in, but the damage I think was already done. Okay. So we are going to, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients actually, because in one hand it wants me to cream together butter, sugar, add egg, vanilla, kind of like cookies. Cinnamon, cocoa powder in one bowl, and then we're going to do baking powder, salt, flour in another one. So let's just start with that. We're going to do a little spice bowl. It wants me to do, you know, cooking shows, you know what like morning shows are on TV, and they have such cute little varied sized bowls they just measure everything into? I don't want those because then I would have to store them somewhere. But I do see the appeal of the concept. There's just something so cute about just having like a little cute little glass bowl and then like, hey, that's where I keep my 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Okay, this one is going to be cinnamon cocoa powder. So we're going to start with 4 tablespoons. Ooh, should I weigh things? I got my scale out because I was going to like try hard and be like, haha, I'm X cocoa powder. Well, the problem is I need to find out how, like, I don't have grams on my recipe. All I have are teaspoons. So it means for each individual ingredient, I'm going to need to hand Google. I do have my phone somewhere. hand Google what that should weigh to do my conversions. And there's a non-zero chance that I make some math or converting errors that cause potentially more problems than just the, maybe I should just weigh the flour, because that varies a lot. And it's like, what, 120 grams per flour per cup? I'll double check that. Do the donut cases look as satisfying to squish as they seem? They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I never don't want donuts. I'm really hoping I can get the hang of making like some good passable ones at home, because it's the one thing that we tend to go out for, because I'm not about to start actually deep frying stuff. The concept of just having to dispose of all of the oil, let alone buying all of the oil, let alone the mess of the ambient oil, just kind of puts me off the whole concept. I like fried food, but I don't like it that much. So thus the air fryer, and then just going out to eat if we really want something that should be properly fried. But if I could get a handle on making donuts properly. Okay, so we're just gonna use spoons for the smaller stuff, but I will weigh it out. Well, all right, where's my phone? Where's my phone? I'm about to try. Thank you. All right, let's see. Now, the real question is, how accurate is Google in this kind of thing? So, according to traditionaloven.com, a tablespoon of cocoa powder is 7.38 grams. This other website says 7.5 grams. And this other website says 7.4. So, let's just go with a nice, easy 7.5. And then we need, like, what, 4 of those? So don't judge me for using calculators for basic math, because it's been a long time since I left school, and I don't want to make mistakes here. Yeah, 4 of them, so 4, so 30, yeah, okay, so 30 grams of cocoa powder. Let's do that. Let's start with that. Let's be all fancy with this fairly inexpensive kitchen gadget that I really should have been using the whole time. Archifal, thank you very much for the 2-month reset. Appreciate it. Happy your second camera works now. So the caveat with the second camera, or with this camera, is that there is a time limit here. While I'm using it, it is slowly draining battery despite the fact that it is plugged into power. But it won't auto shut off, but it will eventually run out of battery, and that limit seems to be about 2 hours for me. Unfortunately, I only started with an 85% battery charge because that was as much as I could get into it today. I thought that battery was full, but evidently it was not. So we're going for 30 grams here. Let's just see what this is to start. 7, 12, 14. Ooh, 30. Too much. Still 32. 31. Still 31. Apparently cocoa powder, not very heavy. 30 grams. Okay. So there's the cocoa powder. I'm not going to weigh the cinnamon. Am I going to weigh the cinnamon? How intense am I trying to be today? How much cinnamon do they even want? Well, they have it crossed out. They do this sometimes. So in the recipe it says, yo, use a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then it's crossed out. It's like, oh, but what if it's like a half a teaspoon of cinnamon? And I'm just going to put some. These are chocolate donuts. I don't think you want it too much, which is probably why she's amended that. So we're just going to I'll just throw a half a teaspoon in there. Like, clearly that amount is flexible. This is not going to make or break my baking chemistry. I just want to make sure that by and large I'm following the recipe with as much accuracy as possible, because I'm trying to compare it in 2 different baking mediums. I would hate for that test to be muddied by incorrect measuring. That's a big half teaspoon, but that's fine. Okay, that was 1 gram of cinnamon. I don't think that this scale does terribly fine fractions. Like I said, it's cheap. So that's probably going to have to do. I am going to whisk this up because it's terribly clumpy. That was the bottom of a very old thing of cocoa powder. So we're just going to try and break some clumps here. Ah, man. Husband doesn't like mac and cheese, so I don't eat it often. Oh, you gotta make that. You gotta make that on your own. You gotta make that for you. You sound like you need one night a week where you're like, okay, so you're gonna make something for you, and I'm gonna make whatever I want for me, because, you shouldn't have to give up eating something that you like. Like, my husband eats meat and I don't, and he also has a lot of allergies that I don't. So often we won't eat exactly the same thing because I'm not asking him to give up meat, and he's not asking me to give up beans. Let's see. Works with horseradish sauce instead of mustard. Oh, you guys talking mac and cheese? I bought some, when I was ordering the buttermilk for this, I ordered some American cheese as well. I don't really like American cheese, except inexplicably melted on my Subway sandwich order. But I guess I do like American cheese. Where I come from, they just called it white cheddar. because I don't mean like craft singles, not the orange stuff, the lighter stuff. Anyways, I found that when you melt some of it in mac and cheese, I don't want it to be the entire cheese composition, but however, including a little bit of it seems to stabilize the cheese sauce mixture and make it less likely to, make it a little smoother, make it a little bit more, I don't want to say elastic, but like heading in that direction. All right, that's going to have to be close enough. It's still like vaguely lumpy, but that's fine. I imagine I'm going to end up using my stand mixer at some point here, so we will, you know, beat the heck out of it when it comes to that. I'm going to mix together my flour. So they were going to ask me to do flour, salt, and baking powder. And we are doing how much flour? Only 3/4 cup of flour. Okay, so let's zero this out and find out what that's supposed to weigh. I do wish now that I had a scale that everything came with grams on it, because that would just make it so much easier. Cup flour in grams. So exciting, so fun. 96 grams. Apparently 1 cup is 128 grams according to that website. 125. Yeah, so 96 seems like a pretty fair approximation. So we'll start with that. We're going to get 96 grams of flour, and then we're going to add in our salt and our baking powder, and then kind of set that aside. I'm just going to scoop some in with this. Actually, for fun, it wants 3/4 cup, so I'm going to measure that in like I typically would have, and then compare the difference in what it would have been. So we're shooting for 96 grams. So let's do 1, 38, 76. So that's how I typically would have done it. And that took me to 113, which is too much. And that's consistent with what I've found in other times I've compared measuring versus weighing. I always get too much when I measure with scoops, presumably because I'm like not sifting into my scoop or whatever thing they want you to do. Flour is fairly compressible, so you can end up with more mass of it in your scoop by just scooping. Okay, so that's the flour for today. They want how much salt and how much baking powder. Teaspoon baking powder and then a pinch of salt. So that's kind of hard to mess up. Let's just go, wow! And then teaspoon baking powder. That one I will not YOLO quite so much. Okay. I miss Subway. I mean, you can have it delivered, maybe. I know Subway is on like the delivery apps around me. I haven't really. I think I've only gotten it once, and it disappointed me, so I haven't gotten it again. Okay, there we go. Honestly, I kind of had better experiences with Subway in Canada. I don't know if it's just due to the different like ingredients they use. They don't really use different ingredients. Maybe I just got really lucky with the Subways I went to, or maybe I was just younger and had lower standards. That's entirely possible, but. I used to really like it, and then ever since I came here, it has not been as exciting. Oh, man. Minor differences, whether your flour came from one mill or another, the grain can be slightly different too. McDonald's is better in Canada. That's something I couldn't really attest to. I haven't really, like, eaten a meal at McDonald's in a long time. I will, on a very rare occasion, like every couple of years or so, if we're just in the area, get some fries at the drive-thru or whatever. And then back in my younger, less responsible days, after a night of drinking, it was not unusual to end up at McDonald's, and I would just get fries and like a McFlurry, because there was never anything that was like, I guess I never tried the fish. I'm not a huge fast food person. Okay, so that's the flour, salt, baking powder. So in the big bowl, let's grab the mixer actually. And I am feeling like we are pretty close to being able to put things, well, you know what, I'm gonna preheat the oven when we start filling the molds, because that's gonna take me a while. I see the words piping bag on that recipe, so I know that me and that are gonna have some working out of our issues to do. So I'm not gonna preheat until then, because I'm not trying to get any sweatier than I already am. All right, cinnamon goes over here. Cocoa powder can go away. I'll just put this one. My beautiful organizational trays don't quite fit, so the one on the far left doesn't slide out. I no longer need the salt. And that doesn't fit either. Oh, I put it up here, that's why. And then vanilla we still need. So there's the egg, vanilla, butter. This is still pretty cold. I'm going to microwave this, but just for like a hot second. Get it? Here we go. I wish I didn't like fast food as much as I do. I know as a kid, my mom used to take us, not all the time, but relatively often, because for a while she was a single mom. she was on one income, and she was like really busy and didn't have a ton of money. So it was just something that was, at the time in the 90s, affordable and easy to just like get some food and the kids on the way home. But a little later on, I think we kind of gave that up and started cooking at home more. Oh, Hazel, that pun was awful and I loved it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how different this is from anybody else's pun process. I never think of them ahead of time. I'll say something and then I'll hear it. I don't plan them at all. Let's say 3 seconds. The problem with butter is it kind of like explodes. And it's really messy. Let's do another 3. And I'm just trying to soften it, right? Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to make it like a little sad. Okay. All right, out we go. You want a better angle than that. I just flung the cable out of the back of the camera. That's not ideal. Let's plug that bad boy back in. That was an overly excited adjustment. I'm gonna have to go restart that. Don't mind me, just off-screen, ghostly, spooky Hazel, fishing for her camera settings to turn it off and back on. There we go, much better. Hi, one of those days. Okay. All good. And we're gonna use this one, not the dough hook. Those of you that are dough hook users, you guys have feelings about these things? I have the pigtail dough hook that came with the mixer, and I was under the impression that that was supposed to be the new and improved, freshly engineered, the exciting, better one. And I swear it doesn't do as good of a job as like the regular angular one that you see people with. Mind you, I don't have one of those, so I'm not able to try it, so maybe I just suck at bread. But I swear it doesn't really, like half the time it's just stirring it around in the bottom. The fact that it's pointed in the end means that the bottom, like, unless the dough is already quite dry, it doesn't really pick it up. In this bowl, I'm going to be creaming together butter, sugar, adding the egg and vanilla, and then the cinnamon bowl, and then the buttermilk. Let's get that out, actually, so I don't forget that. I went through all that trouble to, like, order it. I may as well use it. Here it is. Cultured fat, reduced fat buttermilk. Every time I've used buttermilk in my life, I've been like, what is it? And then I look it up, and then I forget because it's not important. Water. I keep forgetting this is live. Hi, said Caitlin. That noise just made me jump, sorry. Wish I had a stand mixer. They're expensive as heck. Yeah, it's nice. I wouldn't say it's mandatory. I don't think that I am a better baker or a better cook or anything than I was back before I got it, because I used to hand mix. I would say at least some kind of electric mixer. If you can't afford a stand mixer, at least like the $20 like hand mixers, so that you don't have to be like manually whipping cream like some kind of person that really likes to manually whip cream. But it is nice. It's really nice to have. I'm determined to nail down a good bread recipe that works really well with it, because I like making bread and I hate kneading. And this is one of the models that can handle that. It's got a good motor on it, so I want to make it work. Egg. Oh, sugar. How much sugar? Half a cup of sugar. I'm just gonna grab a half cup here. So let's start that. That still might be a little bit firm, actually, but that's fine because it's not me doing it. So that can work on that. There you go. Action shot. Like I said, a little dry still. Also, yeah. And then I'm going to put the sugar away while that works on it. I'm just going to let it work slow for a little bit, and then I'll speed it up some. I just don't want to like have chunks of butter flying out of the place. After that, we're going to add the egg and then the vanilla. So these guys, how much vanilla actually? That's a good question. Probably a teaspoon, right? It's always a teaspoon of vanilla. Very rarely am I adding more or less than a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm a little embarrassed about letting you see in the bowl. I feel like when I'm not when you can't see in there, I can just pretend it's good enough. But now I have like extra pressure to do it properly. And as long as you're not like actually whipping it, it's probably hard to overmix this stuff. I just want it to be like really thoroughly mixed. I'm not too worried about it being like an actual cream because it does tend to come together once you add more liquids. I'm calling that good. Okay, so we're gonna do the egg, which I am going to just crack into the bowl like a mad person. Don't mind me. I don't see, oh no, never mind, I'm grabbing one piece of shell out of there. There's good reasons why you don't do that, but I don't care. It's just, there's a limited amount of extra effort in me, and I already weighed my flour today, so we're almost out of, you know, special attention to give. So we're gonna throw the teaspoon of vanilla in there as well. Turn that on. And I'm gonna preheat the oven as well. And what we're gonna do, have just a big tray to throw the silicone molds on so that I'm not like trying to tweeze individual ones in and out. So let's throw like 1, 2. Ooh, let's use different colors. Blue can be oven, and then pink can be air fryer. Let's do that. How's this going? Gross. All right, calling that mixed. Now what? Cinnamon cocoa powder. So that's this over here. Let's actually lower it a little bit for this one. Buttermilk is going to need 1/2 cup, which I still have handy over here. I'm going to have to actually open the carton. I'm going to scrape that actually real quick. You know, there's some special magic of having somebody else watch you do things that makes you do them better. It does look a little grainy still. I think my butter was a little cold. I'm not overly concerned about it. That is fairly incorporated. There's also a couple of tiny lumps of cocoa powder, but I got most of them. That's fun. Okay, 1/2 cup, which is this one, of buttermilk, and then we're gonna get our flour in there, and then I'm gonna stop beating it like it owes me money because you know, once you have flour in there, you don't want to be adding like gluten, or you don't want to be working your gluten when you're making donuts and not bread. Well, these kind of donuts anyways. These are not a yeasted, needy kind of donut. So let's get the buttermilk mixed in, and then the flour. Quick scrape. This doesn't look good yet. It will, but it doesn't look good yet. You know what? Let's just get the flour in there. There you go. I should probably add it in halves. Sure. Fine. Let's do that. Let's get this half at least started. And then the other half in there. Okay. Oh no. All that careful measuring, and I did manage to get a fair amount of flour on the side of the mixer. Get in there. Oh man. Title says Hearthstone? Yes. It is the Hearthstone Innkeeper's Tavern Cookbook, which it's like one of the cheaper ones. It's like 12, 13 bucks on Amazon, I think. I have an image of Mandari Cho'gall in my head and I just hate it. Oh man. Okay, so that's basically our batter. And what they want us to do with that is they want us to transfer it to a piping bag in order to carefully fill each donut depression. So all we're doing, since all we're doing is, and also I haven't decided if I should try to make the smaller ones. This doesn't seem like a ton of, this does not seem like a ton of batter, to be honest with you. However, it is going to rise some. Like, we do have a raising agent in here, so we're not trying to fill them full. It says, fill each donut depression half full. Right, so we're going to do 3 per 6 total donuts in our first test run. And then depending on how that goes, we'll do more in one or the other method so that we have most of them one way or the other. That, 205 degrees, that one's getting there. Put these away. I am going to actually spray all of these. I'll just do it on my counter because I'm going to clean this anyways. So I'm just going to grab, you can use the coconut oil one, that sounds fine. And it's silicone, you shouldn't really need to, but just in case. Tiny bit of extra oil never hurt a donut. I mean, it probably did, but no. Jealous of your kitchen assistant. My kitchen assistant. My KitchenAid. How are we doing? Got distracted from stream by a great titch sticking outside my window. Presumably a bird. Is a donut depression donut-induced depression or a depression which is treated with donuts? Oh, man. Could be a little bit of both. Could be a little column A, a little column B. Okay, so let's get this off. And I need to decide if I'm actually going to mess with this piping bag because that doesn't sound like me. Can't I just spoon it in? I guess they want it to be smooth. And it's not going to have a smooth top if I spoon it in. And that is actually one thing that happened with my previous batch of air fryer donuts. Was I just kind of globbed them into the things. And the bottom of them had a nice shape because it took the form of the silicone mold. But the top of them kind of looked like a messy bun. And not like the hair, you know? It kind of looked ununiform and unevenly browned and kind of bad. And I didn't really care because I'm very rarely judgmental about the looks of something that I made that I'm going to eat. If, like, I bought it, then sure. But I think I've fairly well accepted the fact that I'm never going to be a great baker or an aesthetic baker. And I don't think that you have to be. I think you're allowed to just kind of make ugly, weird, yummy stuff and then eat it. Why not? Kessikins, thank you very much for the 9-month resub. You didn't have to make donuts for me, but thank you. The bird, I'm lucky I can hear a lot of different bird species where I am. Well, that sounds nice. Piping bag weighs dough that could have been a donut. Spoon is better. You know what I'm going to do? What am I going to do? Do I know what I'm going to do? I might not know what I'm going to do. Also, don't eat raw dough. It's got raw flour and raw eggs. You should not eat either of those things. Tastes good, though. But don't do it. I'm not legally liable for anybody eating dough. Except for myself, I suppose. All right, let's get all this out of here. And then, actually, I should probably preheat the air fryer as well. And do I want to take out the crisper basket? Does it really matter? This is just a little floor plate to let air get underneath them. Well, I'm going to leave that in. I can put them on top of that. All right, so I'm going to preheat this thing. I'm going to do them both at 350. So this thing, I will say, this is the Ninja model. I'm not sponsored by anybody because they know better. But it's loud. But it works, but it's loud. So let's just we're going to use air fry setting, but we're going to match the temperature to 350. I'm just going to turn that on for a while, and that'll preheat it. All right. So the pink ones are going to be air fryer. The blue ones are going to be oven. And I got to figure out how to get them in here. I could try smoothing it with a spoon. Here, we're going to do one of each with a spoon, and then depending on how much I hate that, I may or may not use a bag. I don't have, like, I'm going to have to look to see if I even have tips. I really laid waste to most of my cake decorating collection because I hate cake decorating. I don't want any of that nonsense in my house. I've tried it. It's just not for me. So we're going to go in and see if we can fill half full and see if we can just kind of smooth out the top of it once we have this depression half filled with donut batter. And my oven is preheated. So the problem is it doesn't really smooth much in the oven. It's pretty much just going to bake as is. But, you know, the mold is nice and bendy, so, you know, I can kind of do that. Problem is that the edges of it aren't clean. So that's going to kind of bake on there, but it might not stick to the donut after it's done, actually. This looks very gross when it's not baked yet. I look like I'm smearing mud into like a weird party favor. Okay. So here's where we're at. I think that is relatively smooth. It's definitely not uniform or perfect. It should rise some. So we'll have that. I'll do 3 more, like, well, it might actually, what am I thinking? A quart bag, a snack bag, probably a quart bag. I don't want to have to be refilling it 17 times. The problem, I guess I don't need a tip, right? Because I'm just piping it into the filling thing. It doesn't need to be like, you know, fancy, you know. It looks good. I don't know if I should cry or shed tears of joy. Let's see. Corn on the cob in the air fryer delicious. That sounds pretty good. My penchant for staying at home and hoping I don't die instead of seeing a medical professional is going to kill me long before eating raw dough does. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be self-aware. I can't say I'm too much different. I'll see a doctor if I'm convinced they can help me, which is sometimes. I've seen a few too many doctors that just either don't care or don't have enough time to figure it out, or just there aren't satisfactory answers where you're like, well, I just paid a bunch of money and like, I don't feel any better. You know, that's happened before. So if it's something that I'm like, man, I have an infection, this needs antibiotics, then sure. But other things, not so much. So we're gonna just kind of whack this in here. The problem with piping and me is that it's messy, and so am I. And it always, like, it's coming out the back of the, or it ends up coming out the back of the bag. And also, it does kind of coat the whole inside of the bag. And it is fun to squish wet things through plastic, I'm not gonna lie to you. That is kind of satisfying. But there's no way to do this cleanly, and I just hate having food all over my hands. Get some more of it in here. So we're gonna start with that. I guess I'm gonna take like a wet cloth and wipe the tops of it a little bit, because I did get some on the outside. Although now I just got a bunch on the outside and the bottom of the bag. Oh, man. Okay. I will, of course, add a... Oh, gosh, that's horrifying. All right, never mind. It's just going to have to be all over my hands. This is just the life I live. This is the world I live in. This is just going to have to be fine. I'm going to get it on the outside of the thing, though, is the problem. I don't want to do that, because it's going to bake onto them. This is supposed to be cleaner. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Well, if it looked bad before. Also, I'm not convinced I'm getting very many of these. I think she may have meant the tiny donut hole place thing. These may take longer than 10 minutes to make. There's really no... Mini donut is not a clear enough metric. I think this was better with the spoon. I should have stuck with my first instincts. I just wanted to try it. I am unhappy. I do not care for this. It's very upsetting. It's all over my hands. Oh no. Alright, we're just gonna power through. We're going to get as much of the spatter that is in these bags into the donut holes. They're not even uniform on the top. They look incredibly unappetizing. I don't even want to give you a close-up. I will, but I don't want to. Let me just get through this terrible decision that I've made for myself. My life is just a gigantic string of regret. This is horrible looking. It's all over my hands. I knew this would happen. It always does. It's not even a cake. Here, oh no, that's the wrong end. Whatever. Who even cares anymore? Just get in there. Just. I should have listened. All right. Well, we have 6, and also I think we've learned something about ourselves. This is good. A bag clip that snapped like a barrette or a toothpaste tube squeezer to manage. I appreciate your suggestion, and I do have like these wide clips. However, I'm just gonna get dough all over this thing. There is a right way to do it, and then there's the me way to do it, and I don't see a world where it works out. Me and piping bags are just not friends. Okay. All right, well, I got these 6. One of these actually looks like it needs a little bit more. Oh, here, I'll show you what it looked like. Yeah, there you go. There's your close-up. Focus? Yeah, there you go. It's it kind of exists in the form it came out in. All right, I'm gonna throw the blue ones onto the sheet. We're gonna give them 10 minutes and see what they look like, and then same thing for the air fryer. So, timer 10 minutes. Actually, let's set it for 7. Although I anticipate they're gonna need more than 10. Same thing over here. I'm going to just put them in carefully, and then I do have tongs to take these out later. And then we're just gonna go 10 minutes, but we can check them midway. The nice thing about the air fryer, I guess I had the Instant Pot in mind when I got it, and with the Instant Pot, it's very much like you set everything up and you walk away. You don't touch it. It's gonna do its thing, and when you come back, whatever happened, happened. And that is not the case with the air fryer, which took me some getting used to. All right. Oh, boy. In the same way, don't feel bad. Tastes the same in the end. Cooking and baking is messy. There's messy, and then there's that thing that just happened to me. I miss large countertops like that. I am very fond of my counters, and I'm going to be very sad when I finally have to move out of this place, because it is unlikely that I'm going to move into a place that has more counter space, because this place kind of rocks at that. There is very low chance that I'm getting a better kitchen than the one I have right now for a long, long time in life. But that's okay. I'm hesitant to get appliances like this gigantic R2-D2 monstrosity because I don't want to like cover up my counter space, and there's really no cupboard around here that I can just fit that into. There's stuff in these. This is where our food lives. I'm gonna just do more. They don't need to be color-coded this time, so I'm just gonna grab some of these like kind of green, lime green ones, maybe some more blue ones, just kind of whatever's around. And then fill up whatever else we have. It does smell good. It smells a little bit, the cinnamon with the chocolate is a very distinctive scent. Also, we want to make sure we don't forget to grab this. A little bit of coconut oil. And I'm just going to move my dishes and keep spooning stuff in. Well, I was going to switch views, but no, I'm not. That mouse don't work, and that's fine. I'm still mad that the spooned one actually looked better last time. Like it looks like trash going in, but you can kind of, whoosh it. I feel like there's some positive whooshing that can occur here. Although now that I've said that, now that I've talked such a big game, this is starting to look terrible. Maybe I'm just losing patience. To be honest with you guys, I didn't start out with a ton of patience at the beginning of today. I've not had a great mental health week. I think that is a sentiment that can be shared by many, many people. And there's nothing specifically wrong with me or my life. I have a lot to be thankful for, and I am. But tough brain space. All right, this will have to do. It's been 3 minutes. I'm going to check it after like another couple. The nice thing with the air fryer is it heats up so quickly that I'm not really worried about letting a bunch of heat out of it by checking it. I feel like it recovers from that rapidly, as opposed to an oven that like had such a huge air capacity. It took so much time to build up all of that heat, and it takes a while to catch up if you keep checking on them. The air fryer, I feel like you have more freedom to like check in without tanking the temperature of the thing, or at least in a way that is unrecoverable quickly. Okay, think I'm going to make them all this size. I don't think I'm going to mess with the smaller tray because I don't really have enough batter to do a second one with all the smaller tray. Like, we're almost out already, which with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 donuts, we're almost out. Clearly that was the one she meant when she said 2 dozen, although we've had this conversation before. Whenever a recipe is like, this will make 16 dozen cookies, I always get like maybe 2 dozen out of it. And I just don't know what kind of penny-sized cookie these recipe writers are making, you know? How are you guys doing? Mercury's in retrograde, is that true? Past few months have been hard on everyone, I think. Let's see. Yeah. You know what I've been meaning to make in the air fryer that I haven't done yet? It came with this book of recipes or ideas or like things you can cook in the air fryer. And one of them was like, yo, you can make these breaded zucchini sticks. And that sounded really good. And I got some zucchinis, but I got zucchinis probably a solid week and a half ago, and zucchinis are not one of those like brave vegetables that can really hold up under trauma. Oh boy. Mistakes. Zucchinis falter fairly quickly in life, and I don't think they're really good anymore. And then also, last night, I was like, well, maybe today's the day, but I hadn't even started thinking about dinner until like 7:38, which is way too late. I usually want to be eating by 7, but you know, like I said, bad day. So, I get in the kitchen, and I'm like looking at the recipe, and it's like, yo, so you're gonna like slice these things, and you're gonna bread them, and then you're gonna freeze them for at least 40 minutes, and I'm like, now we're done. This recipe and I have just gone our separate ways. I cannot follow where you go. So it looks like our grand total is going to be 9 donuts. But you know, the recipe didn't take a ton of ingredients, so if it turns out to be really good, I can make more. The thing I want though is, while chocolate, I'm not anti-chocolate or anti-chocolate donut, but in any kind of a breaded product, with the exception of cake, I would say, I don't always want chocolate. Like if I'm getting a donut, I want something with like some fruit or some jelly or some cream or like a lemon, what do you call it? Like the filling, but there's a word for it. I don't remember. You know, I want something fruity, like jam or jelly, but you know, also color. You know, I like pink, I like sprinkles. I like, there's the raspberry rosemary buttermilk donut that Blue Star does in Portland, and that's just delightful. It's both very pink and super cute and delicious. So I don't know if chocolate's the first pick. I want to learn how to make more things. Ooh, if I can figure out how to do jam-filled donuts, although I don't think I'm going to be filling any donuts without piping bags. I guess maybe if you get like a big syringe, that might do it. All right, I have all kinds of dishes going on over here, and I still have like traces of chocolate on my hands. Let's wash those a little better. I don't know you any more recipes. Breaking my heart. Donuts with strawberry icing. I've never seen a spatula get that sticky. Aren't they usually non-stick? I mean, it's non-stick. It's a silicone spatula. It's just covered in a batter, right? Like it's covered in a wet, sticky, sugary batter. I don't think, oh, I should check this. Interesting. All right. Well, you'll just have to see. So that was 7 minutes. Yeah, they definitely need at least 3 more. You can start to see kind of like the breading, the cracking breading happening at the top of the air fryer ones. The air fryer ones look a little more done than the Instant Pot ones. But I want to err on the side of overdoing rather than underdoing them. I'm not trying to burn them, but I took them out too early last time and it was really hard to fix it. Whereas color's not going to be an issue with these because they are chocolate donuts anyways, and I'm going to be glazing them as well. We're going to glaze them too. I'm going to clean these dishes, or at least clean some of the dishes, so that we can get a cleaner working surface going for glazing these bad boys, because we're going to have a nice little chocolate glaze topping. Blueberry basil donuts sound good? Yeah, that's my other favorite. They have all kinds of good stuff, but if you're ever in Portland, they have a Blue Star in the airport. If you're leaving out of PDX, it's after security, like it's on the outside of security, you know, on the public side, which is unfortunate because I feel like usually by the time you're, you know, on the public side of security, you're like either leaving the airport because you want to get to wherever you're going, or you are, you know, trying to you're not really wasting time out there. So I kind of wish they were inside, but what do you do? What are the advantages to the air fryer? No smell? Air fryer versus oven is hard to quantify. It is smaller, so there's less energy, less power, because it doesn't have to heat as big of a space. And it does have a slightly different cooking method. It's whipping hot air around them, whereas the oven is just heating static air. So that's going to make some kind of a difference. What difference, we don't know quite yet. We'll have to try them. Versus frying, air frying doesn't use as much oil, or you don't really have to use any oil if you don't want to. And I think it's cleaner because you're not disposing of oil, you don't have like spattering oil anywhere. It's just a little cleaner in your kitchen, although it does mean you have a big giant thing. But you're not going to get like fried food out of it. You're going to get crispy food. You're going to get delightfully cooked crispy food fairly quickly. I really like throwing like a sliced up carrot just in like big half-inch chunks, tossed with a little olive oil, a little salt, and I'll just air fry that and just have it with lunch, and it's really tasty. Plus just, you know, anything that can get me eating more vegetables is usually a good call. Okay. 30 seconds. Love your apron, thanks, Zane. Does it taste as good? Yeah, I mean, deep frying things is always going to have a specific effect, but not everybody wants to do it at home. I don't think you should expect to get the same results from air frying something as deep frying something, but if you like weren't going to have a deep fryer anyways, or you were like afraid of messing with the oil, you don't want to pay for it or whatever, this is just a little cleaner, slightly healthier, and can make food crispy, which is one thing the Instant Pot does not do. Pressure cooking will not make things really crispy because you've got like moisture in there, right? So those are looking closer. I am still going to give them another like 2 minutes because they don't really look done. These, on the other hand, that I would believe is done. It's looking a tiny bit dark on the tops of its crests. So that's what we're looking at. I'll give you a better look once we get them out of here. But not mad at that yet. All right, so I'm gonna throw that down here. Plate, I guess. And then tongs to get them out of there because that's gonna be hot. And we are gonna peel them out of their silicone. Not just yet, but before too long. Ah! Just flinging this thing around. Also, I got tongs. Who's proud of me? Okay. I want to make sure I keep them separate, although it looks like they're going to be pretty visually distinguishable. I want to know which one's better, so I know if I can pop these ones in the air fryer or if I should save them for the oven. I guess I'll just do the rest of them in the oven, unless these turn out. I guess I won't find out how well they turn out, because they have to cool for a little bit. Oh well. Let's put this, I guess, back in there. That's fine. Turn this off. I will remember to clean that, hopefully, although their food never actually touched it. Is this the famous air fryer? That is the famous, well, I mean, I don't know if it's famous, but that is the air fryer I've talked about on stream. That's my carrot roasting machine. Oh yeah, this one's basically empty. Okay, so I feel as though I should get these out and cooling a little bit, but we are going to glaze them while they're still warm, but just not like hot, you know? So while the donuts are cooling, combine confectioner's sugar, cocoa powder, and vanilla, and then add in just enough milk to make a thick but pourable consistency. And then they want us to dip them in the glaze. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these little bad boys out of their little silicone homes. It looks like they're not really stuck at all. They're almost going to come right out. Yeah. Because, that's so cute. Ow! Hot still, though. Get them out of their silicone homes so that they can start cooling a little bit. I don't know if I really would want them much smaller than that. So one thing that I'm noticing right away, this is the first batch of oven. They got definitely more of a rise. They are taller, for sure, than the air fried ones. So I'm gonna throw these guys on here. And then yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any confusing which ones are which, at least not until we glaze them, so I'm not going to worry about putting them on the same plate. Also, we have the colors of the molds. Okay. So that was 11 minutes. Actually, it was 12, but we'll start with 11 for a second batch of them. And then I should probably get started on, well, let's get these out, and then we'll start on the, I don't know if there's any harm to letting them cool in their little things. They're so cute in the bottom. See, like, the bottoms look great because they've been formed by the mold. It's just that when you flip them over and you're like, huh, that's oddly craggy. Little crispy bits on there, but like once we glaze them, it won't look so bad. They definitely look less strange than the other ones I made. The air fryer ones are definitely craggier on the top. More of a, that's kind of the look. That's the air fried one. And then that is still very hot, don't touch me. The oven done one anyways. Okay. All those in the sink. This can go away, that's just the flour. So we need milk, more cocoa powder, not this one because that's basically done. And then icing sugar, which is up here, but we do have more if we need it. How much icing sugar are they asking for? 1.5 cups, which is probably more than this. Icing sugar, cocoa. So it basically says just combine them. And I probably want to do this in a pretty shallow bowl. I'm going to do this actually in my lunch bowl. This is like my ramen bowl, but I put anything in it. I'll do like rice bowls or just carrots or apples or anything I'm having for lunch I put in this bowl and then I clean it every day. But it's like got a nice wide flat bottom that I think is going to be good for both mixing but also dipping these. Oh man. Just got 2 baby kitties today. Very happy about it. Congratulations. What's it like so far? How you feeling? I guess you just got them today, so you haven't been up at night yet. That's it might be coming. You know, some cats are more high maintenance, low maintenance than others. 1.5 cups of confectioner sugar. Now, icing sugar, I hold, is impossible to measure correctly, so we're just going to kind of, well, I guess I should at least clean my half cup measure. That makes sense. Kind of like an old-fashioned on top. Yeah, the other ones are much smoother and more uniform, the ones that were done in the oven. I'm very curious to see what the texture difference is when we taste them. Cat's angry at me? Why? What happened? Is it like a legitimate grievance or a cat grievance? Because occasionally my cat will get mad if I like don't let her walk on my desk when we don't do that. Oh, close the door and say, oh, poor baby. I always apologize effusively to my cat whenever I accidentally like, you know, like half step on a tail or something like that. Just big apologies. Although I'm lucky, I have a fairly forgiving cat. I feel like you gotta get in there fast, but you know, you make sure she's okay, and then big apologies, and then big smooches, and then I feel like she knows that I didn't mean it. But some cats I know can really hold grudges. Mine's just a real sweet baby. Where is she? Probably asleep somewhere. She's probably asleep on my chair. Oh man. My cat yells at me when I sneeze. Okay, that's funny. That's actually just great. Missed chance to get 3 kids named Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I want a dog, but I want a cat as well. Afraid they won't get along. So we got our cat as a kitten when we already had the dog. And what we did was we introduced them extremely slowly on either sides of first a closed door and then a baby gate. And introduced them to each other over a long periods of time, and then did some other things we read online, like feeding them next to each other, that kind of thing. And we got to a point where they don't really like each other. They're not friends, but they don't fight, and that's pretty much, like, they're safe around each other, and that's pretty much what we needed. And our dog, like, if he sees any other cat outside, he absolutely wants to chase it, but our cat, he kind of just pretends it doesn't exist because he's determined that it's the safest solution for him. Hit 200 attempts on Invincible, still no luck. Any tips to keep going while mount farming? I mean, I know this is the sunk cost fallacy, but you've already put 200 attempts in. What if it's on 201? That always works for me. I never want to walk away because in my mind, there's an invisible number that is the destined number for how many kills it's going to take me to get it. Now, I don't know what that number is, and the only way to find out is to kill it that many times. So you have an invisible number. We don't know what it is, and the only way to find out what the number is to keep going. Or, you know, if you don't want it that badly and you feel like you want that time for something else, there's also no shame in giving up. Did about 130, that was too much for me. Our dog took care of all the kittens so our cat mom could chill out. Oh man, I got my mail muncher while leveling my hunter's cloak. Congratulations. Hi, Hazel. Stop hooking you. Relationship advice is a tough one for me because I don't think I have a great perspective. I think all you can really do is be honest about how you're feeling, and then if it's not working, it's not working. I'm definitely not a counselor though. But if you're not feeling listened to, that's a problem. Just came back from buying donuts. Well, what kind did you get? You get any chocolate? Okay, so now we are back at icing mixing. Also, I can probably get these ones out now. Yeah, that's much better. Here, I'll show you. Careful, careful, careful. I don't want to tear it. It's so cute. Look, it's so pretty. That is such a cute little donut. I did that. And then there. I'm really terrified of just getting too confident and then just like tearing one out. Not that that would be a problem. Like, it's not gonna keep me up at night. It's just that I would really rather. Oh, I'm so glad they didn't come out just kind of like vaguely, you know, snake shaped. That would have been unpleasant. Okay. 1.5 cups. Oh yeah, that's why I was washing dishes. I wanted that cup back. That's what was going down. This one. If I had a Krispy Kreme anywhere near me. You know, I've never in my life had Krispy Kreme. I've heard a big game talked about it. I didn't really have good donuts until I came to Portland, honestly. Like, growing up, I would have Tim Hortons donuts, and those are fine, but they're like, you know, the ones that you get that are like, they're frozen before they get to the store, and it's not like a fresh donut, it's just a heated donut. And I don't hate those. I think that there's a place for them in the world, but that was kind of what I grew up on. And then around here, you have places that take donuts very seriously. But I never tried a Krispy Kreme. Got chocolate glazed. Now I can watch Hazel without feeling jealous. Not missing anything with Krispy Kreme. Can we time out for terrible dad jokes asking for a friend? Oh no, that's my brand. I know your husband's official name is Mr. Nutty, but is his official first name Baze? No, that's the name of, I think I had the name Basil reserved because I thought it would be a really funny male character name. I think it was like a Draenei Death Knight or a Lightforge Draenei Death Knight for a hot second. And then I decided I didn't want to re-level my Death Knight. So there's 1/2 cup. And then this is going to be just a little under 1 cup. I'm just going to put the rest of it in here and then grab like another big 1/2 cup for our icing sugar. You don't want to under sugar because it's tough when you don't have enough glaze, you know. You don't want it to be like scraggly. I'm not making these for my health. So, a little bit of that. And then we're going to be adding in cocoa powder to it. It's calling for another 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, which was 30 grams worth. Maybe I'll measure out 30 grams of cocoa powder. I wouldn't want to over or under chocolate the icing. Now, would I? Oh, boy. Fresh off the line Krispy Kreme donuts are good. That's what I always get because you get a free one. You know what I do like donuts, and it is donut day, so I can't disrespect the good donut name. But I think that bagels, a little underrated. A good fresh bagel, good day. We have Einstein bagels around here, and I do like what they do. Okay. So 30 grams worth of this stuff. Let me do that into a separate, well, actually, what we do is we're going to turn this on. We are going to throw this on here, zero it out, and then just add 30 grams worth of cocoa powder. Now, I actually don't hate measuring the cocoa powder because it's kind of messy anyways. Like, I find that whenever I'm trying to accurately scoop it and like level it off, I'm just kind of getting it everywhere. And it's tough to get off of stuff. So this way I feel like I can be a little more, you know, contained because I'm just kind of scooping to weigh in 30. Although because I'm putting this into the combined bowl, it's going to be tougher for me to take any back. I'm kind of concentrating it into a little mound on one side, to be honest with you. 22, so that I can maybe like scoop a tiny bit of it back in if I need. 25, 29, 30 grams. Perfect. Got the Undast amount today. I feel so lucky. Congratulations. If I wanted to be healthy, I wouldn't be eating dessert. Yeah, I believe I've been through different phases of how I look at. I've been at different phases in my relationship with food in my life, and where I'm at right now is that I need to be careful about what I'm eating every day consistently and regularly. So breakfast and lunches and dinners, the everyday stuff. Those things, it is well worth my time to make sure that I'm getting fruits and vegetables and whole grains and like decent proportions of those. Because for a long time I'd be like, yeah, I had an apple on Monday, I eat fruit, but like that's not, ideally, it would be better if you got a much larger percentage of your plate in plant matter. But those are the things that I eat every day. And then I still enjoy desserts, and I still enjoy baking, and I still enjoy bread and garlic toast, and those are my favorites. I'm just not having them all the time. And when I do have them, I'm having them in smaller portion sizes. I think that's the thing for me. Okay, so that is my cocoa icing sugar mixture. It's a lot. This is a full bowl. I did not expect to fill my entire like large soup bowl with sugar, but here we are. All right, those look about, oh, those are not quite done yet. Those need another minute, which, predicted by the time what we did last time. So to that icing, they would like me to add a teaspoon of vanilla and 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk. So I'll do the vanilla first, and then we're gonna start kind of adding the milk in. There's a tiny, tiny part of my brain that wants to try it with coffee creamer instead, but I don't want to ruin all of this icing sugar in the event that I'm wrong. Because I have like this organic like butterscotch creamer. Donuts look good. Aren't they cute? I can't wait to try one. I hope they're good. I would make some tea to have with them, but they're going to be so rich I feel like they're going to want just like a glass of milk. Okay, so a teaspoon of vanilla for the glaze, and then 1 to 2 tablespoons. So we'll start with 1 tablespoon of milk. It feels like that's not going to be near enough to turn this into glaze, but we'll see. So there's your vanilla. And then we're going to start with 1. This would probably be better with a higher fat milk, but I only keep skim milk around. There we go. I think I actually have like cream somewhere, maybe. So now, oh, I need to take those out. Well, do I? Oh, those ones are a little bigger. They look just slightly not quite as like firm or as whole. They just don't look quite right yet. All right, so this is an odd thing to mix because it looks entirely dry on the top, but the motion of it belies its liquid nature. But like, it's really, there's like not very much liquid and a ton of icing sugar. So it's hard to really, there you go, you can kind of start to see. Come on, little buddy. Earl Grey with milk might go well. I think I might be deciding that I'm just done with Earl Grey. I think I just don't like it. I've tried a lot. I've tried nice Earl Greys. I have tried Earl Greys in fancy cups. I have tried different brands and blends, and it just kind of tastes like pepper to me. I like a lot of black teas and a lot of English teas. It's just that one's just not quite floating my boat. We're definitely gonna need the extra tablespoon because we're trying to make a glaze, not a dough. All right, these are coming out. Okay, that looks better. Some extra donuts there. That is all of our donuts. The grand total is going to be 9 out of a recipe that swore it was going to make 24. This is mini donut sized. This is a mini donut. Like, you can't tell me that's not. I don't know what size donuts she was making that she got 24 of them from this recipe. All right, so there's a 2nd tablespoon of milk. Sprinkles, optional. Oh, we gotta go in with the sprinkles. We must. We simply must. I'm gonna do this with a spoon. This whisk is holding a large clump of icing sugar mixture hostage, and it's making me uncomfortable. Get on there. All right, well, that's most of it. I just don't want it, like, I don't want it to keep most of our liquid because we only put so much, so much of that in. Oh, slippery. Okay. Finally got a Switch in Animal Crossing yesterday. Thank you for your videos. Oh, no problem. You are in for a wonderful escapist land. There's nothing quite like turning off reality for an hour or 12 and just kind of living your island life. This is still dough. Did I misread an ingredient quantity? 1.5 cups of confectioner's sugar. Unless they meant a single half cup, but there's no way that's what they meant. 4 tablespoons cocoa powder, 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk. Did this happen to me last time? Like, you see this, right? Like, I have a monster in here. This looks like a villain from a children's book. That is a thick paste. I'm just adding more milk. This is not how icing works. We're going in. And then if I need more, I might look for cream. Yeah, I do have cream. Because, like, I'm going to be dipping. If I had dipped a donut in that thing, it would have just bounced right off. I still think I'm going to need more, but I'm going to keep mixing for a while because I don't want to jump the shark too early. But that's starting to look better. That was a good gloop I put in there, you know? Favorite black tea so far is Irish breakfast. I've actually been really enjoying, this is a cheap one. Oh, I don't have the box handy anymore. The Tetley British blend. It's probably garbage, but I don't care. I am enjoying it thoroughly. There's something about it that reminds me of my childhood. I brew it for 5 minutes and then have it with some sweetener and a dash of milk. And it's like strong, but it's good. All right, now we're starting to get somewhere. This is still quite thick. Do I look ripped yet? I've been doing push-ups for like 2 whole days, and by push-ups I mean wall push-ups because I cannot handle floor push-ups yet. But, you know, it's just something to do to hopefully help me be more sane. And also I've tried on and off throughout my life. I think most people have. And so, of course, it's been 2 days, and I'm like, yo, am I ripped yet? One punch, Hazel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just do like 20 push-ups and all of a sudden you're a monster. That's all it takes, right? You're just gonna accidentally get swole. That glaze is thick. Yeah, this is still, I mean, it's quite thick. It's also quite lumpy. I think maybe I need to get my whisk back. That's depressing. I'm gonna clean my whisk. I'm gonna get the whisk back in the action. I'm also gonna add a little bit of cream to that. Oh, 100 of each for 100 days? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just doing what I can. And as long as I'm doing it every day, that's better than not doing it. Oh, boy. I love Tetley. In the UK, we use Tetley and PG Tips. Yeah, but there's a lot of Tetley flying around in Canada. Tetley and Red Rose. And I've been on quite the tea journey in my life. I've gone through many different price points and brands, and I do prefer loose leaf. However, there's just something about like just a good cup of tea that I cannot always get with a loose leaf tea. Although I do actually kind of like taking like a Chinese black tea, like a Yunnan Gold tea, and then brewing that really strongly, and then doing the same thing with the milk and the sweetener. It turns out it's got like this. It's very hard to describe, but it's got a very distinctive flavor that I find satisfying. Okay. Yeah. I'll show you what I just did. I've made a spot. I've made a cream spot. Let's get this incorporated, shall we? You know, I don't want anybody to say my glaze isn't rich enough. Oh, this is still quite thick, but I suppose it shouldn't. I'm not trying to make it like liquid, you know? 5-minute steeping is what we call it, Builder's brew. I love it like that. It's so good. Like if I wanted a fancy, more delicate, weaker tea, I would just drink water. I'm a barbarian who leaves the tea bag in the cup until I get to the dregs, maintaining a perma-steep. There's, in China, there's a method that's referred to, I think, as grandpa tea, which is basically that. It's like a hot cup of water with the tea bags just in it, or tea leaves or whatever, and it just kind of stays in there, and they just like drink it because they're grandpas and they don't care. All right, look at that. Also, that's kind of difficult. Okay, I'm done. Okay, that is a smooth-ish bowl of glaze. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just dunk, 1, 2, 3. Actually, let's get these 3 out. We're going to glaze the tops of all of them and then just kind of lay them out on the plate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are not all that uniform in size, but you know what? They're donuts. And that's pretty much what I wanted out of my day today. Oh, ha, 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 ha. All right, there we go. Eat a little crush you. Because last time they ended up just being kind of vaguely like cupcakes. I'm not really sure what differentiates this recipe from a cupcake recipe. I guess it has buttermilk in it. It's a lot of glaze. Take a cube of sugar and a portion of loose leaf tea and just mortar it until it integrates. I can't have proper sugar in my tea anymore because the combination of the acidity of the tea and the sugar just fries my teeth. Just melts them right off. I had like a number of cavities, like 3, 4, 5. Some disgusting and heartbreaking amount of cavities after one dentist visit when I had been brushing and flossing my teeth twice daily, as I do. And it was just that I had been on a sugared tea kick, and I figured it was fine because I brushed my teeth. And I did everything that you're like supposed to do. I like waited after drinking it so that the enamel wasn't still soft and everything. I want to switch. Oh yeah. But it just I switched to Splenda and I haven't had a cavity since. All right, I just wanted to give you kind of like the look. So this one is one of the craggier ones. I'm going to kind of snap off some of the crusties on the edge of it just because I feel like those are going to hold a little too much glaze. It can be a little crusty, but you don't need to be like crusty. This is far too much glaze. Absolutely far too much. I wonder if that's a typo and they really wanted me to use a half a cup of icing sugar because that would have been appropriate for 9 donuts. That would have made more sense. This is a pool. Like I can make like Cheerios, right? Like, all right. You would probably want to like let them, I guess, drip on a tray and clean it up later, but they can just kind of melt themselves to this plate. That's fine by me. I'm not taking pictures for the gram. I guess I should take one for Twitter. Do I want to? I don't want to tweet anymore. I don't want to do it. You can't make me. I don't think I've ever once opened the Twitter app and left feeling better about anything. I keep it because I use it to message some people, but that's about the end of it. All right. And then, this is way too much glaze. What do we do with the rest of this? Because if I put it in the fridge, it's going to like solidify, right? It's going to turn into a single blob. Otherwise, I would just keep it and put it on ice cream. Also, I already have chocolate sauce to put on ice cream. That is a thing that exists that I own. But like, I have an entire bowl of chocolatey icing. There you go. You got a mod handy? Thank you. My teeth are so naturally soft, I could do everything right and still need heavy dental work. Hopefully dental tech jumps forward the next 20 years or so. I can get on board with that. Faberon, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. I can't believe we did it. It's only 20 after 4. This recipe does not take that long. I feel like most things that we do on stream are like a solid 2-hour operation, and half the time we don't even like get to eat it on stream. But, you know, we're an hour and 20 minutes in, and I don't know about you, but I think this looks like a plate of donuts. That one's air fried. That one's definitely not. I can tell by the cragginess on the top of them. You can still see it through the glaze. I should have probably organized them by individual one so that I could keep track of them and tell the difference. Those look so good. They look yummy. I hope they're good. Should I make a cup of tea? Yeah, I'm gonna. I need one. I already had a cup of tea and I don't care. I'm making another one. Balcor Uther, thank you very much for the 7-month resub. 7 months of pure joy. Thanks, Hazel. Ah, shucks. You're too much. You're too kind. Oh, boy. I don't know what to do with this. Not a clue. That's so good. What does that remind me of? I mean, chocolate. Duh. It's chocolate icing is what it is. That's all it is. Last appraisal of my dental work was around $26K. My teeth get to suffer until technology advances or dental stops being treated as a luxury service. Yeah, I know, at least, I don't know where you're from, but at least in the States, a lot of dental services are kind of inflated pricing because they assume people getting them are putting them on like some employer's insurance plan. So they don't really assume that an actual person is going to pay for that out of pocket, but some people do. Breway, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Okay. So I was putting on some, what kind of tea am I making? Not this pot. I mean, lately I've just been making tea in big mugs. I've been just, you know, tea bag, mug, hot water, living that life because that's just kind of what I need right now. We'll start the water boiling. That's a good first step. make some more, watch some movies. I'm not a big movie person. I get bored very easily. Although I also get bored during TV. To be honest, sometimes I get bored just in the middle of tasks that I know how to do and have done many times. Like, to the point that I'm like, why am I even? I don't know if that's boredom or something else, but like, I'll be in the middle of doing something, you know, just like slicing some carrots, making some dinner. And I'm just like, I'm bored. Why do I bother? What is life? Why am I here? Am I going anywhere? Am I just treading water? Am I slowly sinking under it? What's happening? This is not 1,000% clean. It's 98% clean. If I wasn't streaming, I would just put this back because it's just like a tiny bit of flour, but you guys will know, so I'll clean that again. Where did you get that Alliance frock? My frock, my apron, I got it off of Etsy. These Etsy seller, I bought it many years ago. I bought this like 2016, 2017, something like that. And the seller no longer has an Etsy shop. They now do printing for businesses, stuff like that. But I imagine you could find something similar somewhere. It's not official merchandise. It is not a licensed piece of merch. They've never, to my knowledge, done aprons, and they should. Although, I have kind of lost faith in Blizzard gear merch. Oh, man. I guess I do like some of the stuff that I got from BlizzCon last year. I got, like those hoodies, the Arena hoodie, and then the Mythic Plus hoodie. And at the time, I'm like, why did I spend so much money on a pair of hoodies, aside from the fact that I knew it was going to be cold at BlizzCon and I was going to need them. And they didn't even keep me that warm there, because they're not overly warm, but right now, kind of in this inter-spring summer period where it's like warm but still chilly in the morning, it's the perfect thing to put on when I'm walking. And like, I know I'm going to warm up, but you still want like a little something on when you first leave. Like a California sweater. Okay. This is over here. So, are these the ones we cooked with? Evidently not. No, those are clean still. Is it worth it to go to BlizzCon? Kind of want to, but I'm cheap AF. It depends. So obviously this is kind of a moot point for this year because BlizzCon 2020 has been canceled. Just generally speaking, if you know anybody that is going, or if you have friends that are going, then absolutely worth doing it for the experience. But if you're just kind of going because you want to see the news and just because it looks kind of cool, I would say just virtual ticket it because it is a lot of money. I mean, depending, the price of it can vary wildly. Like the tickets are a couple $100, but most of the price of my BlizzCon tips has been like hotels and flights and stuff like that because you got to fly there. And because whenever I've gone, I've wanted to have my own space that I'm not sharing with anybody to keep like my camera equipment and stuff. If you were to like share an Airbnb with guild members, that would bring the accommodations cost down quite significantly. So there's different ways to do it. It's worth it for me because I have people I get to meet people, and because it's like a little networky, and plus it's fun to see the shows in person, and you can make videos from the floor. But like if I wasn't a YouTuber and if I didn't know anybody there, I don't know if I would have enough fun to justify how expensive it is. It would be fun, but it's also stressful, and it's loud, and it's crowded, and it's like lines, and you know, it's fun. It's worth doing at least once, I think, but that's going to depend on you. And if you're already kind of cheap, you're going to be unhappy with how expensive everything is. Oh, ugh. I definitely am going to be saving a fair amount of money this year based on just not having to travel, because those are things that I always kind of did just because I wanted to, and because otherwise I never get to like actually meet anybody else in the industry. But I can't say that they're profitable for me in any way, shape, or form. First time seeing you live. I'm from New Zealand. Hello. Abby. Hi, Abby. Guess you got the time lost proto. Not me. The guy in front of me. Oh no. Oh, that sucks, dude. Sorry. Lived in an area I would go for it, but can't justify the additional cost of travel and lodging. That's where it really gets you. I think what you want to do is if you have a guild that you play WoW with, you guys like agree on a year so that you can split like a house or something like that, because that's both fun and makes it a lot cheaper to stay. Doesn't help with airfare. Like airfare is obviously quite expensive, especially if you're coming from overseas. And then some countries need to worry about visas as well. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm gonna miss it. Oh no, Paralyx wasn't clean on the bottom either. I'm gonna miss it, but it might also be kind of nice to have a year off. Big Bro with the 3-month resub, thank you very much, appreciate it. And Carolina Girl with the 7-month resub. First time seeing on Twitch. Greets from the Netherlands. Hello. Brother and I were planning to go on BlizzCon this year, have to go next year instead. At least next year's an announcement year. That is a small mercy that the one year that we have to skip, or, well, the first year that we have to skip, it's hard to say if it's going to come up again, but this would have been a very in-between year. Like, last year was kind of the big announcement year. For me, I don't know how much of a difference that makes to me. I feel like the announcements can be enjoyed just as well from home. Most of what I'm there for is the atmosphere, and to like actually meet other people that are as excited about the thing that I love as I am, because my life is largely defined by World of Warcraft to a perhaps unhealthy extent, and that's not something I share with anybody around me to the same degree that I experience it. So there's something kind of special about being on the floor with other people that are just as into it as you are. It's kind of like you're among your people, and I will miss that. What kind of tea am I making now? It is 4:26. I could get away with a black tea, but I already made a cheap one. I should do something slightly nicer. What do I got? I'm gonna make this one. This is a Tao of Tea loose leaf Assam. So still a black tea. I'm still gonna make it the same way, but I like this one quite a bit. Let's do the green pot. I rinsed it with some hot water just to do like a real loose preheat of the pot. If I'm being fancy, like if I was trying to take it really seriously, I would preheat the pot with a little bit of the boiling water. But, oh fine, sure, yeah, you know. I'm on camera, why not? Let's try. So just like a little bit of that, and then I'll swirl it around carefully because I have splashed it on myself before. And then you could also put this into your cup to preheat your cup too, but it's nice to preheat the pot because that means that your brew temperature is going to stay hot for longer. And black teas like this, I find they brew nicer if you can brew them really hot. They won't get quite the right flavor if you brew them too cool. It's why I cannot stand, like if you order tea at a place and they just give you a cup of hot water out of their hot water tap with like a tea bag in it, blasphemy. Absolutely not. I very, very rarely will order tea if I'm out. I'll drink coffee if I'm out because most places cannot do to-go tea correctly. You can't just do me like that. All right, I'm gonna steep that for like at least 4.5 minutes. Oh, because that's what my day needs. I'm not gonna have a second video this week. There's just no way. I'm just gonna keep plugging away at the one that I have over the weekend and try to get it out for next week. This week was not my week. That's okay, that happens sometimes. And I'm gonna eat a donut soon, so we're steeping that. This can go away. I'm gonna wipe my counter down because that's gonna be kind of messy. And what's the chances that you get out of that apron into a Horde one? 0%. I would not wait up for it. Holding your breath is not medically recommended. I just like Alliance better. And that's okay. You know, that's half the point of the game is to pick a side, right? I don't dislike Horde players, and I like a lot of Horde races, and I've played Horde before. I played Horde all through MoP. I played Horde on and off through Cataclysm as well. I used to play a Troll, I had an Undead. Like I had an Undead Dusterlock for a while. I played Troll Hunters. I played Orc Hunters. I've played Troll Druids and a Tauren Druid. I've played Horde before, but like if you're gonna like hold me down and make me choose, I'm gonna pick Alliance 10 times out of 10 because of just the races and the colors and the cities. The cities play a big part of it. I love Stormwind and I cannot stand Orgrimmar. And the same goes for Boralus and Dazar'alor. One of the very first WoW videos that I made on my channel that was not a pet battle strategy is like 5 reasons why Orgrimmar sucks. It's a very old video. And I think I still stand by it. I remember saying that you can't fish off of sky zeppelins and you can fish off of boats, so there. Dazar'alor is ugly? I disagree. I think Dazar'alor, visually stunning. The effect is very good. It's just that it's so inconvenient, even after flying, let alone what people had to suffer through pre-flying. Just getting between commonly accessed places was just way too far. And, like, the pyramid faces the wrong way. It's a really cool looking city. It has excellent colors, but it doesn't feel nearly as good to live in as Boralus does. Okay. I disagree with Horde being all the same as well. I think that if you look at a Volterra and you look at an Orc, those two things are wildly different. I think there's a good amount of differentness to the Horde. Although maybe some of it's more recent. I guess, you know, Blood Elves have been around for a long time, and those are also a very different vibe than other Horde races. I spent half my life in that city running around. Every time I try to do something at max level in a Horde character in Desire lore, I'm always asking the guards where the thing I'm looking for is, and they tell me, and I'm like, seriously? You gonna make me go all the way over there? It's, Browse is just such like a nice, cute little corner, and the rest of the city is still very large and exciting and interesting. It's just that you don't have to use most of it. The only thing I ever go outside of the little Tradewinds market area is I'll go outside of there for pet battles, like for the teleport NPC for Mana Poof, or for like the vendor, the pet vendor, or, you know, if I'm just going to try and hang out at the Barrel and Crate, because it's just fun. Transmog merchants. I don't think I've ever found transmog merchants in Desire lore, to be honest with you. Are they by the enchanting vendor in like that underground thing by the profession area? Is that where they stuck them? The only alliance city I know my way around is Darnassus, so I'm useless in Stormwind Visions. I mean, Stormwind Visions, I do understand being difficult to navigate because it's so... The different areas, specifically Old Town and the Trade District, feel extremely similar, but they're not quite the same, and of course the objectives are not quite the same. So I totally understand how that can be confusing. I do think the Orgrimmar Vision's a little easier to navigate, but as cities themselves. Keep forgetting about Mana Poofs, such useful portals, same. I never use them unless I'm going to go do a pet battle. Which I think reminds me, this week could be my last pet dungeon. I think this week I do the pet dungeon, I buy the last pet, and then I'm done with Blackrock Depths. Do you recommend any kinds of MMO mouses? Yeah, I use a Logitech G600. I am partial to the mouse design that has, let me just put this in the dishwasher. The mouse design that's got the 12-button grid on one side. So I use the Logitech one because it is more affordable than the Razer one, and I find it also to be more durable, plus the wide design is nice for me and my gigantic spider hands. All right, that's my tea done. It is now, we're up to 79 degrees. I told you it would almost scrape 80. Oh, I knew it. I've got ice in my water bottle somewhere, or at least I used to. That's nice and cold. That's really nice. Okay. And I'm just making a cup of hot tea because that's my life. Sometimes you just want one, and it's hot, and that's fine. I've been called out for my big hands. Yeah, no, I'm just being silly. I don't think that my hands are disproportionately large. I'm just a lengthy person. So compared to other women, anyways, I have on average larger hands, with like long wiggle fingers. But I like them. I don't hate my hands. There's a lot of things I don't like about myself, but my hands are okay. I need mugs for my tea. Let's do medium mugs. Okay. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to slice an air fryer donut in half as well as an oven donut. So I can try half of each because I don't really want to eat 2 donuts right now. I don't think, like, they look really rich. I don't think I'm ready for that. So I'm going to do half of each and then I'll pass one off as well. Here we are. Can you see that? You cannot see that at all. It has a lovely color. This has got a really golden, like a nice dark, rich golden color to it. Is there any way I can show you? Yeah. You know, if it's a... I like white interiors in my tea mugs because, you know, you can just get a better sense of the color. I feel like in a black mug, like I like my BlizzCon mug, my BlizzCon 2019 mug, but it's all black, and I feel as though sometimes that kind of washes out the appearance of the tea. Okay. This one's almost empty. Ah. And then here, CM Philly, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. We are almost at moment of truth time. Logitech G502 is a superb mouse. Not an MMO mouse, but has 6 buttons on it. Yeah, not everybody wants the 12 grid. It can be a little bit tricky to get used to, especially if you've never used one before. I am glad that I got the hang of it, though, because I still, to this day, feel as though I don't always have enough keybinds, particularly on, like, my Resto Druid. And I'm using not only the 17-button mouse, because you get 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, oh, and then 17 behind it, but also the like 20 odd key gamepad from Razer. And that's still not enough keys for me apparently sometimes. All right, straws. Donuts. I'm gonna dissect a few. I don't know if we want forks or not. I feel like you're not really gonna need forks, but I'd rather have them and not need them. So this is an air fryer one because it's definitely craggy looking. And when I get a good cross section from one of these, I'll show you what the crumb texture looks like. Or we can actually compare the crumb texture between the two different types of donuts. Okay. So we take a moment to talk about the Razer Orb Weaver. Do you feel it's hard to move for Rating Mythic Plus content? Oh no, I couldn't play without it. I have a video that shows exactly how I have the key binding set up on it, but I move with the thumb pad so that all my good fingers are for like damage abilities. I don't have any issue moving at all. The thumb joystick thing combined with mouse camera turning on my other hand, and I am 10 out of 10, perfectly fine. Okay, so here, this is the air fryer one, this is the oven one. See if I can get a focus. See if I can get a light and a focus. Oh, there you go, there you go. So, like, kind of the same, although obviously the oven one is rounder. I'm gonna drop this one off. Oh, hang on, I need to drop it off with a tea. I hope you wanted another cup of tea.
Thank you.
Okay, and then this one's slightly more crushed. It seems all right. Yeah, the oven one does have a slightly more even crumb. I'm going to try the air fryer one first. And it's really good donut. Cinnamon's pretty strong. Cinnamon's there. It's kind of like a dense, chewy kind of crumb. Kind of mouthfeel. I'm getting icing all over my lipstick. Okay. And then the oven one, much softer. The oven one is very fluffy, whereas the air fried one has more of like a crust on it. I'd say that the oven one is basically cake. It's basically a donut-shaped tiny cake. Whereas the air fried one kind of feels a little more donut-y, honestly. Let's see. The air fried one feels more like a donut. They're both good. This one's a little too chewy, a little too dense. No, my hands. Give me one of those. They're not that hard to make. Compared to other donut recipes that followed, these are not difficult. I didn't do anything hard today. I would say that use a spoon to stick them in the molds. And also, there's really no harm done if you just throw them into the bottom of muffin tins if that's all you have. I did that last time and that turned out fine too. Although, honestly, you could just make cupcakes. I don't know that it's really scratching. The air fryer one kind of scratches the donut itch. I'd be interested to try it with a non-chocolate recipe if I could find a recipe. Most of the recipes that I've found for donuts, specifically air fryer donuts, but like homemade donuts, they want you to bake them and they are yeasted donuts. And basically the way they come out is kind of like a yeasted cinnamon roll, but donut shaped. And they're good. They're very delightful. I made a batch of those last week. But they're not quite donuts. And I guess maybe, oh, this one's a little full. Oh, that is a good cup of tea though. I guess maybe, I'm not gonna get that donut experience unless I actually deep fry them, which I'm not about to do. So there is probably still a place in my heart for donut shops around here, but I'm pretty good. It's not bad. Brownies next week. Make Swedish kladdkaka. I've never heard of that. So we do baking streams once a month. This was the June one. We'll do another one in July. And towards the last week of the month, I put a poll up on my Patreon. I don't have very many Patreon perks, but that is one of them, is the Patreon supporters get to vote in the poll on what recipe we are making next. And then on the first of the month, I announce the date and stuff like that. Do you like voodoo in downtown Portland? I've been once, and I liked the experience. I liked the vibe. I don't know that the donut was, like, to die for. Honestly, I chose a Fruit Loops one because that sounded good, but the cereal on it was quite stale. Maybe if I'd gotten a more traditional donut that would have been fresher, that would have been good, but I've had better donut experiences from other places in town. Now I want to try a different batter in the air fryer. Do the Pet Battle World Quest not scale with your pet level? Some of them do and some of them don't, is I think the easy answer to that. A lot of them that do scale didn't always. And I don't know off the top of my head which ones do and which ones don't. The BFA regular ones should scale down to your pet's level, like the level of the pets that are on the team you're putting in. But if you have one max level pet on the team, it's not going to like average out based on the carry pet. It's based on the highest level pet that you put against them. Would baking streams be more frequent if the KitchenAid and Air Fryer brand sponsored them? Oh no, I don't think anything can make baking streams more frequent. I think it's a monthly self-reckoning about whether or not I should just give up on them altogether. They're fun, and they do inspire me to do things in the kitchen I wouldn't normally do. It's a lot of setup, and it's a lot of teardown. It kind of like takes over the whole day that they're in, and they don't perform better than regular streams. So it's a fun thing to do, and I do plan to continue them, but they're a hard sell from a business standpoint. Let's see. Not really popular for taste, more than unique and weird ones, yeah. If you're ever in Portland, Blue Star. Blue Star's where it's at. Oh, I have half a donut left here. Hang on, where'd my tea go? That tea actually does help. I was worried that I would, like, need the milk. But the tea kind of cuts the richness. This is just a cupcake. You can't tell me it's not just a cupcake. It's a good cupcake. I don't really mind the cleanup so much. I clean as I go. I've always cleaned as I go whenever I'm cooking. Like if there's something in the oven, or if something has to rest or wait or whatever, I'll just kind of clean up what I can on the way so that it's not like a big pile at the end. I don't really hate it. Plus, if I have like a lot of dishes to do, I'll just put in my earpods and like listen to some music. But like I can't, it upsets me a little tiny bit on the inside, quietly, when I see other people cooking and they make like a gigantic mess. And then they do it all after dinner. Like everything from like the entire meal. Because it's just so much, like, it just kind of stacks up. And sometimes when you let things stack up, they get worse. There's some things that you shouldn't let dry. And if you don't have enough room in your sink, then they do. Clean dishes and stream setup. I mean, the dishes happen after the end of the stream. Music and streams is the only way I'll clean. Easier to clean up as you go. Yeah, absolutely. I am about done for the day. I have 7 donuts left. That recipe did not make very many, but I think that's fine. I probably don't need to have most of them. I'm not a huge chocolate person, and I think my husband likes them, so I'll probably leave most of them for him. You know what I might make sometime, not necessarily on stream, just in general, is there's a really great pastry recipe in the WoW cookbook that you use for like the Conjured Mana strudels, and I have the cream cheese and I have the jam, and I love pastry. It's so good. So I'm done for the day. I'm gonna leave. Thank you all very much for coming by. I will be back tomorrow afternoon with a WoW stream. I don't know what we're doing, but we will figure it out. Thank you all for joining me, and I am going to appear awkwardly off camera for a couple of seconds before I end the stream, because I'm gonna have to do the long walk around to get to the mouse to actually turn it off. So thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Goodbye.